Hello and welcome to News Tonight. My name is Rhoda Ngonzi. In sign language, Mugalu Mohammed. Let's take a look at our top stories for the night. President Museveni urges leaders to form SACCOs, says salary increments will sink the economy. Civil society won palliative care policy. While in Sudan, military and opposition agree on transition. In sports, KCCA FC to expand Philip Omondi Stadium. President Yoweri Museveni has said market integration of Africa and political integration for strategic security will stimulate the continent's prosperity and rapid economic transformation. The president was today delivering an opportunity lecture to 17 high-ranking military officials from 11 countries, including the USA, UK, Germany, Netherlands, and Bolivia, among others, at Masindi State Lodge in Masindi District. The team, led by Rear Admiral Ross Albon from UK Royal College of Defence Studies, has been in the country for 1 week on the study tour of Uganda about its geopolitics and economic development.
Even today, the population of Africa is 1.2 something billion, while India, as you hear, is 1.3 billion. So India, which is 12 times smaller than Africa, and you can imagine what it was in 1900, when the population of Africa was only 100 million. You take a country like Congo. Congo is the same size as India, with a lot of much more natural resources, but with a population of only, I think they are now 70 million or something like that. So the problem of Africa has actually been underpopulation. Now, when you have got, and the underpopulation was because of the enemies of man, who were taking advantage of the good climate. The mosquitoes, the tsetse flies, the other bacteria. That's why the population remained small. Now, a small population in a big area, in a land with a lot of natural resources, a lot of water, a lot of wood, with little difficult communication, led to another problem. The problem of a low level of political integration. Low level of political integration.
Also, President Yoweri Museveni has urged leaders to form SACCOs that government can support to supplement income, saying it is not sustainable for government to increase civil servants' salaries at this time. The president said government will spread the skilling program that has been tested in Kampala to 20 zones of Uganda, where it will create industrial parks with assorted equipment for furniture making, maize milling, processing agro products to create jobs and wealth. He urged the leaders to do an audit in their respective villages on wealth creation, telling them to adopt the 4-acre plan proposed by government for small landholder families. He urged them to sensitize the people about the dangers of land fragmentation, saying by shrinking land ownership, it is killing production. The president was addressing a zonal consultative meeting on wealth and job creation with the political and technical leaders of Bunyoro from the districts of Ulisa, Hoima, Kagadi, Kakumiro, Chibale, Chikube and Chiriandongo, as well as Masindi at Kontiki Hotel in Hoima municipality. The president took the leaders through government's economic recovery process, saying they had to ensure total liberation of the country, rehabilitate it to minimum recovery and embark on economic development. Initially, President Museveni commissioned the Hoima Road network covering 4.6 kilometers in Hoima municipality, Hoima district. The constructed road network costs 31 billion shillings and is furnished with solar-powered streetlights. President Museveni urged leaders, especially those in service delivery sector, to be transparent with resources allocated for national development. Meanwhile, the mayor of Hoima municipality, Mary Grace Mugasa, said that the commissioned roads are aimed at revenue enhancement and capacity building in the area. So civil society in Uganda has petitioned Parliament over meager funding of palliative care and high costs of essential medicines like morphine. The program's manager, Africa Palliative Care Association of Uganda, Fatia Chiange, stressed the need for government to cut costs of initial essential drugs and decentralize treatment of some non-communicable diseases like cancer.
70-year-old Joseph Egolet, a resident of Palisa district, was diagnosed with colorectal cancer in 2014. He had irregular bowel habits and continued abdominal pain.
It could not be done at Palisa. Somebody attempted it, but he misdiagnosed and put me on wrong drugs.
He was put on cancer treatment at Palisa Main Hospital, but unfortunately given the wrong prescription. This worsened his situation, which later saw him referred to Nsambia Hospital, Mulago, and later Nairobi Hospital.
And let them speed up, let them expedite the decentralization of the treatment of cancer.
Egolet needed at least an essential drug like morphine for pain relief. Whereas morphine is an essential drug for cancer patients, its cost alone has seen many people lose their lives. In the petition handed to the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Olanya, Palliative Care Association appeals for government support to meet costs of some essential drugs for disadvantaged patients. Non-communicable diseases account for 33% of the total disease burden, which calls for integration of palliative care and a budget allocation.
Investment, financial investment in palliative care. Again, serious chronic illnesses are going to stay with us for some years. They are not going in 10 years. We are going to stay with them. Even with the best healthcare system, we'll still need to invest in this care so that people with life-threatening illnesses have good quality of life.
With only 4.8 of public hospitals fully integrated with palliative care services, Palliative Care Association of Uganda wants government to decentralize treatment of non-communicable diseases.
We are asking for recognition, but also more investment in more healthcare workers to be trained. And also, we recognize that for people like Joseph in the villages to get palliative care, it needs to be part of the national health scheme.
The treatment is also centralized. That has it has impact on costs, and then the cost of drugs. Once in a while, Mulago gives free drugs.
Deputy Speaker of Parliament Jacob Olanya says Parliament has limited powers to make adjustments in budget allocations.
The person who presents the budget in any country is the president. It's called financial initiative. It rests with the president. It's only the president who can propose a budget. And the sectors and the local government and all these other institutions have to prepare everything and submit every request to the president, who makes the final decision. So if no request is made for you, then you cannot expect anything.
Palliative care is specialized medical care for people living with serious illnesses. It's a care focused on relief from symptoms and stress of serious illness. Susan Naunga reporting.
Meanwhile, land conflict in Moroto district has taken another twist as residents accuse the UPDF's 3rd Division headquarters of expanding the barracks beyond the Army's land boundaries. From Moroto, Philip Aguta reports that the chairperson, Rupa Sub-County, says over 100 people have been affected.
These are some of the buildings inside the barracks for which over 100 people allegedly cry foul as UPDF's 3rd Division threatens them with eviction. Prominent among the victims is the former LC5 chairperson of Moroto District, Mark Aol Musoka.
For your information, in 2002, I bought a piece of land where I put my home the following year in 2003 and settled there in 2006. Now, we are intimidated all the time by the army that we shouldn't develop, we shouldn't add on development on our land because their land belongs to them. I thought if you are opening your boundary, it is very clear, the land act is clear that you should be having the neighbors. When they extended the boundary beyond where Idi Amin had put it, whom did they consult? I feel that this is a classic case of land grabbing.
The problem seems to be between the UPDF and the locals after failing to address it.
You realize in 2014, that time I was a chairman, I even went to see the CDF then. And we have held meetings. There was a team sent here, which was headed by one undersecretary, I don't remember his names now. And we held a meeting around the 18th of December 2014, which was chaired by the RDC then. We gave our recommendations, said, okay, fine, we don't mind about what Idi Amin did. Let the boundary of the army be taken back to the old defense of Idi Amin. No report has ever been brought back to us.
The barracks land was first given to government in 1963, but since then, the boundaries have allegedly been expanding, an allegation the spokesperson of the 3rd Division, Captain Herbert Arnaitwe, refutes.
What happened some time back in 2013, the military land board opened those boundaries and they put stones and these other trees, they are called milk trees, that over time, you know, Ugandans have learned to grab and encroach. So they removed those boundaries. And most of those people, not even most, there's only one lady here who is complaining. But the division stopped her. She had put a shrub, said, no, wait. We as the division, we are not technical. We have a military land board that caters for all the land. In fact, Ministry of Defense is the landlord. We here as a division commander, as a PRO, as all people here, we are custodians. We keep this land that was given to us. We don't expand, we don't subtract. So that allegation of UPDF expanding, we don't expand.
Meanwhile, Moroto RDC Peter Lokap says satisfied documents will resolve the matter.
Came to my attention, and of course, we even told the UPDF to get papers to prove that the land is there. Then we are also telling the people to get some kind of documentation or some elders who know.
During an ongoing Land Awareness Week in Karamoja sub-region, the aggrieved parties were advised on dialogue.
What we shall do is to forward these issues to the attention of government. There are issues that government need to provide answers for, and the issues that we need to work hand in hand to ensure that these land rights are secured. Actually, the issues here are really alarming. And we think the situation is not only for Rupa. Rupa is representative of all these other locations that have mineral issues.
Going to court, okay, suing is not the solution. First of all, there's need to put records right. There's need to put records right. There's need to harmonize and sit down and say, yes, what is the issue? What is the problem? What is the cause of conflict?
This is one of the constructions which has stalled because of the dispute between the UPDF and the civilians here in Moroto. But according to the UPDF spokesperson, this matter will be resolved not later than this week. For UBC TV News, I am Philip Aguta in Moroto.
Now, Ministry of Health and its partners are gearing up to educate the population about the dangers of drinking unsafe water. To this effect, residents of Kampala are being advised against consuming water from wells because it is highly contaminated.
Whereas water is life and a basic requirement for human survival, it can also be a source of death. Waterborne diseases are spread through consuming water laced with microorganisms that cannot be seen by a naked eye. These organisms can cause diarrheal diseases, mainly cholera, typhoid, and dysentery. According to the World Health Organization, more than 3.4 million people die annually due to drinking contaminated water, making it the leading cause of disease and death globally, especially among children under 5. A recent study conducted by the Ministry of Health shows that most of Kampala's springs and wells are highly contaminated with fecal matter.
From pit latrines, it is from fecal matter which is scattered all over, because we know some of our community members and households don't have toilets, don't have pit latrines. Some of them use themselves in polythene bags, others in buckets, which is still very unfortunate, but those incidences are still there, and it is from that kind of arrangement that the water streams are contaminated. We would actually discourage our communities from using water streams. They should use water from national water, which should also be boiled before it is consumed.
A call has therefore been made to Kampala residents to stop drinking water from the wells. A water well located in Chebandonsoba, a state suburb, is one of the water sources for the community around it, though not recommended by the ministry.
Balangako bukyanganywa kati emyaka 5 nganganywa ne sifulanga lwadi bwa mazigano galwa walolwaddeko nze bukyanganywa sikisirwalanga emyaka 5 nganganywa ate nga si mafumbe
nange ennyota bwe nnuma nange nganywa nga si mafumbe n'ecupa ebeera wano lwokuba jjo naaganya ogire zino nsulo si mazzi ga mwala.
It is therefore not surprising that Kampala is always having incidents of cholera outbreaks, with the recent one being in January this year. It is critical that people are educated about the importance of boiling drinking water to minimize unpreventable diseases and unnecessary deaths. Adiana Kuti, UBC.
Tourism administrative stakeholders have converged to showcase achievements that the tourism industry has scored since 2016 as per the 2016-2021 NRM Manifesto. Besides being the highest foreign exchange earner last financial year, the sector stakeholders are boasting to have gained momentum in promoting Uganda to Ugandans.
Prior to the 2016 presidential elections, the NRM government published a manifesto setting targets and priorities for various sectors in the country if the party won presidency. The tourism sector took precedence in the 7th chapter.
Now for the manifesto, because this is why we are here. Mr. Chairman, you have stated it quite correctly. A manifesto is a social contract. As a social contract, it has pledges we promise to the population. So to ask us to account to what extent we have achieved these pledges 3 years down the line is quite proper.
The manifesto obligated the tourism sector to focus on the following pillars: human resource development, tourism planning, regulation and management, conservation of natural and cultural heritage, product development, and tourism destination marketing and promotion, of which the sector vastly achieved.
On the strength of this record of performance in the last 3 years, there can be no doubt that NRM will fulfill all the pledges and more come 2021.
The sector administrators admit that it has been challenging to find a best suiting brand for destination Uganda.
To this point, we don't have, a clear brand to help us in marketing destination Uganda. So we have started a new process of working with experts to try and collect the different ideas, and the different concepts that we've used before, and be able to clearly this time, define a particular brand that we are going to use.
The Ministry of Wildlife, Tourism and Antiquities has contributed an average of 7% to GDP since the year 2016. For UBC Business, Wadulo Makano.
And with that, we take a quick break. We return with more details.
Every dream has a challenging journey. Ours began in 1998 with a mission to drive the development of a robust communications sector in Uganda. We created structures to champion the dream. We've evolved, made discoveries, supported great minds, empowered Ugandans, and fostered a vibrant culture, enabling communication for all. Down the years, we've created memories and networks, uniting generations and building great partnerships. Together, we can go even further. UCC, celebrating 20 years of achievements.
For the first time in Uganda, we are launching a virtual online trade show. Can you imagine having a trade show on your PC, on your mobile phone, 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year? Stack Online has made it possible. Log on to www.stackonlinetradeshow.com or download our app from Google Play Store or Apple Store. Seek, find, trade with Stack Online.
You're watching News Tonight. The twins, Waswa and Kato, who were the youngest children of Member of Parliament Mukono North, Ronald Chibule, have been laid to rest at their ancestral home in Kapeka, Namuyenje, Mukono district. The burial was graced by the Vice President, Edward Chiwanuka Sekandi.
Thousands of mourners gathered at Kapeke, Namuyenje for the burial of twins Waswa Raymond and Kato Ramond, children to Salong Ronald Chibule, State Minister for Water. While delivering the condolence message from the President, the Vice President Edward Chiwanuka Sekandi said the death is a loss to the nation.
On behalf of Government of Uganda and that of my family, please accept our deepest condolences and a heartfelt sympathy upon this sad loss. May God comfort you at this most difficult time of grief.
The Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Kadaga, consoled the grieving parents to thank God for the time they had with the twins.
Faithful always. Pray continually. Give thanks in all circumstances, for that is God's will for you in Jesus Christ. So give thanks for the short time you've had with children. Give thanks for what has happened.
The Deputy Speaker, Jacob Olanya, said it is a trying moment that the bereaved parents look up to God.
When sorrow like sea billows roll, whatever happens to you, I am in charge. So look up to the Lord
and he who was given will always give.
Different politicians from NRM party leadership lashed at politicians who had politicized the death of twins for being unpatriotic.
Being on the opposite side of politics does not mean that we are political enemies when it comes to matters like this. We must learn the art of being patriotic and nationalists as Ugandans.
The joy to their parents and to all of us, because they are blameless, they are innocent, and I think that's how God decided to take them.
The bereaved Nalongo Fortune Chibule and husband recall the children had extraordinary love.
I also want to encourage Salongo, let's leave all the blame games. Of course they can always come. This was the time for our babies to go. Salongo.
Ate abawala mukaaga njagala nkole ekisoboka bano basigalewo nga tewali akoze eki afudde.
Right Reverend James William Sebagala from Mukono Archdeaconry led the service.
Taka, Waswa, Nikato, Evu Muvu.
I'm Nafka Farida, reporting.
May their souls rest in peace. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, Dr. Diana Twine, has expressed concern over wrong diagnosis and prescriptions. She was opening training for pathologists and laboratory personnel on proper handling of pathology services and diagnosis at the Uganda Cancer Institute, Mulago.
At least there are over over 4,500 laboratories across the country, but most of them privately owned. However, the quality of diagnosis services in the country is wanting. The National Coordinator for Laboratory Quality Assurance Program, Dr. Patrick Ogwok, also Principal Laboratory Technologist, blames this on the standard of facilities.
First, they are not registered and therefore legal, and a lot of them actually are not labs to talk about because the systems are not good.
But 100 laboratories will be elevated to international standard, with already 10 of them in that class.
Because the labs are so many, especially in the public sector, we've picked 100 labs which are associated, distributed all over the country, so that this hub supports about 30 to 40 different facilities, so that the other 40 facilities do very limited tests, but the bigger tests are transported using motorcycle to the hub. And then those tests that are not done in the hub are transported to the reference labs at the national level.
A situation analysis conducted 2 years ago shows that pathology services are concentrated in the city center with a limited number up country.
Tuli abasawo be bayita pathologists abakebera obunyama okumanya oba omulwadde alina kansa nga 24 abasavinga miliyoni 4 za Uganda, and laboratories ezikebera obunyama omwo mu Uganda eri Mulago, Uganda Cancer Institute ne Mbarara waliyo ekikolebwayo.
So, Ministry of Health, the Department of National Health Laboratory and Diagnostic Services, and the Uganda Cancer Institute, supported with the East African Public Health Laboratory Network, is conducting a training in pathology services to improve cancer diagnosis and care. Speaking at the sidelines of the training, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Health, Dr. Diana Twine, could not agree more with delays and wrong diagnoses as life-threatening issues.
So
So timely diagnosis and the right diagnosis is so critical to improve the care of our patients and the outcome. There is a clear relationship between early diagnosis and the outcome of the patient.
In order to bridge the gaps in the sector, there is need for improved service delivery from sample taking to sample handling as a prerequisite of accurate results.
You collect a sample for infant diagnosis, you leave it exposed there, you don't keep those, what do you call them, those dry things. Then you contaminate. It gets contaminated at the bench. That alone, even if you have the best laboratory in the world, it will not give you good results if sample handling is not good.
You tell us that it's a hen, so we go to treat a hen. If it is a dog and you tell us it's a hen, we shall treat a hen. Okay? So it's important that you pay attention in this training. I want to...
Dorcas Kimono, UBC TV News.
Meanwhile, Uganda and Denmark have launched the Northern Uganda Resilience Initiative program aimed at supporting refugees and host communities in northern Uganda. The program was launched at Ogili Palabek in Loamo district by Danish Ambassador Marshbret Holm, together with Honorable Grace Trinchwini, the State Minister for Northern Uganda.
Let me take this opportunity to declare NURI 2018-2022 launched in northern Uganda.
Northern Uganda Resilience Initiative is one of the 3 engagements under the Danish and Uganda government on sustainable, inclusive development. The program includes refugees and host communities in northern and western sub-regions, supports agricultural, farming, rural infrastructure, and water resource development. At the official launch, the State Minister for Northern Uganda, Grace Trinchwini, said the program enhances income and employment opportunities for local people and refugees in agriculture.
The program emphasizes increase in production, increase in income, employment, marketing opportunity. This is the way to go. And I want to emphasize, and I've told some development partners before, that if we are not focusing on any of these, productivity, employment, marketing, income, then you are doing a disservice to northern Uganda.
She tasked regional chairpersons for monitoring and accountability of all government programs.
Emphasizing this because it is only such interventions that can help us get out of poverty, that can also lead us into middle income status, the way the president or the government is emphasizing. And so my colleagues, the chairpersons, the cows, let's do better than we have always done.
The Danish ambassador to Uganda, Marshbret Holm, said that the program focuses on value chain and builds on experience on previous interventions.
So the NIDA's involvement in Northern Uganda goes back many years, more than 25. We were here even when there was war and conflict in this very region. We've been working with a number of partners up here, both in Acholi sub-region and in West Nile.
The Danish government has committed 160 billion shillings, targeting the smallholder farmers and medium-sized enterprises within the agribusiness, refugees, and the host community in northern Uganda. Mutesa Seda Haruna, reporting for UBC News.
In business news, Minister for ICT and National Guidance Frank Tumwebaze has launched the Makerere ICT Academy granted to the university by Huawei, a Chinese tech giant. The Huawei Makerere ICT Academy will train and certify 1,000 ICT survey students every year.
It's my pleasure to flag off the Seeds for the Future program beneficiaries to go.
10 Makerere University students under the Seeds for the Future program are going to Hawaii headquarters in China to enhance their IT skills. The event held at Makerere University main campus has seen the launch of the ICT Academy to benefit 1,000 persons every year. In his speech, Information and Communications Technology Minister Frank Tumwebaze criticized the old model of schooling that emphasizes skilling for employment rather than for earning.
Because of your ability to innovate solutions that win regional and international markets. So let's aim at that component of how do we harness the technology to sell innovations. How do we improve on people's young talents?
He advised graduates to put academic qualifications aside and put emphasis on using the attained skills to solve society problems.
To innovate that enables you to earn. Any innovation that does not earn you money is dead. Consider it dead. Any innovation that does not attract demand from the market, it is what? Dead. Don't waste your time on it.
Huawei's managing director, Liu Jiawei, said Huawei would cooperate with the various universities of Uganda, such as Makerere and those in the countryside, to teach ICT courses to over 1,000 students. He encourages students to get certified by Huawei and cultivate professionals with practical skills for the world and ICT chain without charge.
The program started bearing fruit since Uganda inception in 2016. Out of the 30 students have taken in this program, at least 21 are employed somewhere, including Huawei, and none are still in the school.
And I think it has taken a little bit too long for Huawei to take advantage of the potential that exists at this top university.
Students with unadded ICT ability and skills to solve problems stand a better chance to earn a living, even with the unemployment increasing globally. David Matovu compiled this report.
Now, Roofings Group has launched its 25 years anniversary celebrations. Established in 1994 in Uganda, the producer of steel and plastic construction materials has achieved a global brand.
Roofings Group is celebrating partnerships, compliance, growth, employment, hard work and innovation.
We have got very trained staff working with them. It improves the quality, it improves the quantity of production and all. And this is how you become competitive.
Over the last 25 years, Roofings turned a homegrown brand into a trusted brand and is a market leader of steel and plastic construction products in Uganda. So now the focus is competition and relevance in the construction sector.
So in many ways, like if you look at roofings, our technology is the most modern in sub-Saharan Africa. Kenya has had coil coating plants for about 40-50 years. Some of that technology is still running today. So I can say that we have introduced the most modern technology, and Uganda can be very proud that some of our industries are more advanced than those of our brothers and sisters in Kenya and Tanzania.
The steel and plastic manufacturer credits their success to the growth of the real estate sector, capital-intensive projects and government support.
There is a tar road, there is a railway siding coming into our land, so the whatever goods we get from Mombasa comes by rail directly off-road into our factory. Water is available, power, quality power is available. So it's a partnership, and I think government has played a very important role in developing not only our industry but the industries in Uganda.
Roofings Group products manufactured at their two plants include iron sheets, hollow sections, galvanized wires and the roofing's plastic polypipes. Dennis Igoa for UBC Business.
Uganda could increase on the portfolio of exports to overseas, with one of the local wine makers saying India and Turkey, rather eyeing India and Turkey markets. Backed by the Export Promotions Board, K Roma Limited is readied for the business as it expands on the production line, although impeded by inadequate space.
The Minister for Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, Amelia Chambade, has committed support to a local wine manufacturer, K Roma Limited, to find suitable land for expansion of the business.
So I would want to help you to see that we recommend you for land in one of these industrial parks. Well, Kampala is crowded, Namamve is crowded, but we could look at other areas because you have already established yourself.
Besides occasional scarcity of fruits, land for expansion is a major impediment to the direct employer of over 50 individuals.
You can't even fit there. The business is growing every day. So I'm asking a bigger land. That's why, and I don't want it in Nama because it's fulfilling. But they have land in Soroti. If they could give 20 acres, we put the facility, we get more jobs. These children are loitering on the street that no jobs. Yet we have employment.
Currently, the company targets markets beyond East Africa.
Now they are marketing me abroad. They have taken me to Turkey, to cities called Konya, Ankara, Istanbul, and they can testify. They are all waiting for my wife.
As part of the strategy to enter overseas markets, the company has introduced new brands of wine to the existing portfolio. Onyango Jackson and Benadiga, UBC TV.
And with that, let's take a look at the Forex exchange rate. In Sudan, the military had announced an agreement with the opposition alliance for a 3-year transition period to a civilian administration. The Transitional Military Council said the alliance would have 2/3 of the seats on a legislative council. However, the two sides are yet to agree on a sovereign council, the top tier of power where both want a majority. The announcement comes after it clashes in the capital, Khartoum. At a joint news conference, Lieutenant General Yasser Al-Attah said a final agreement on power sharing would be signed with the opposition alliance, the Declaration of Freedom and Change Forces. Within 24 hours, the sides had agreed on the structure of the future authorities, a sovereign council, a cabinet, and a legislative body.
Thank you.
Reigning league champions KCCA have sent a warning to rival clubs to expect a 2019-20 competitive season. Celebrating victory with club officials, the club plans to expand the stadium to match international standards.
KCCA is to expand its home ground, the Filippo Mondi Stadium, to match seating capacity of major stadiums in Uganda. The stadium can only accommodate 8,000 spectators and lacks other FIFA security requirements. This has forced the club to host its home international games at Nambole Stadium. While awarding the best performing players, KCCA Executive Director Andrew Kitata reaffirmed the need to expand the club's stadium.
This being the champion club in this country, I feel that we need to expand the capacity of our stadium. We need to have a bigger capacity so that we can bring in more revenue and be able to grow the club. And therefore, we are currently making plans to see how we can progressively expand the stadium.
At the club's award ceremony, Charles Lukwago was announced the new captain for the Yellow Boys. Lukwago replaced Timothy Awani, who had a tremendous season before being summoned to the national team.
Actually, as you're saying, it's not usually taken by the defenders. It's not like people who see that defenders are not want to take it, but it is about the statistics, how you're performing on the pitch, what are you contributing to the team, and what has the team gained from you. I think that's it.
Lukwago, on the other hand, reassured a better season competing against the best.
Next season, the fans are out there should expect us to compete and to fight for trophies and win more, and to play good football and to reach higher stages in the continental engagements.
Timothy Awani was named Most Valuable Player of the Season and the Fans Player of the Year. Mustafa Kiza was named the Jimmy Kirunda Player of the Year, and Patrick Kadu, who netted 17 goals across all competitions, was the club's top scorer. Youngster Ibrahim Juma was named the Jackson Mayanja Young Player of the Year, and Charles Lukwago as the Tom Ranga Most Disciplined Player of the Year. Ngabo Emon, reporting for Ubc TV.
The Former Footballers Initiative, which is a relatively new project, has started realizing its dream of aiding former footballers. The first has been Ibrahim Nafala, who during his playing time in the 70s was a force to reckon with for Express FC and the Uganda Cranes, but now struggling with illness and living from hand to mouth through family in Katabi, Wakiso District. Nafala's woes will at least for now cease.
We mobilize ourselves to help the former footballers because most of them, they are in bad shape. The situation is not good. Some of them, they cannot afford to work because they are aged. So what we did, we have visited a former footballer, it's international. He played for Express, he played for Uganda Cranes, but he's in bad shape. He doesn't have enough, doesn't have any income. So we have come to strengthen him, to give him courage. You know, we are the owners of the, I don't know how I can interpret that in English, but we are the people concerned. We said, you know, attacking FUFA is not the way forward. The way forward is to mobilize ourselves as people who played soccer and then help ourselves, you know, help those people who are in need. That's what we're doing today. We are in Katabi, and Mosei Dafala did a very wonderful job, you know, for this country. So he deserves, he deserves any help, That's what we're doing.
And the 2019 National Schools Coca-Cola Soccer Tournament has witnessed the round of 16 in Jinja District. Our reporter has the details.
The battle for supremacy at the 2019 National Schools Coca-Cola Football Tournament has continued, with the teams eyeing a quarter-final slots. Through to that stage is 8-time champion St. Mary's Kitende that has secured a 4-0 victory over Bushenyi St. Kagwa, with Jacob Okau and Charles Luanga among the goals. Standard High School Zana also progressed after 2-0 victory over Kawembe Progressive.
We are going back now in our camp for some homework. We are going to continue doing some to practice and make sure that we maintain what we have been doing, and even our weakest point, work on them, so that at least we can win.
Others are through to the next round of games: Abudo SS, St. Henry's College Kitovu and Royal Giants. Hosts Jinja SS beat St. Juliana 2-0, while Jinja Progressive needed penalties to edge a record winners Kibuli 7-6 after 2-all regulation time scoring. The quarter-final draw was by news time underway, with action planned for Thursday. John Barnes, Sentinel, reporting.
And a quick one on the headlines. President Museveni urges leaders to form SACCO, says salary increments will sink the economy. Civil society want palliative care policy. In Sudan, military opposition agree on transition. And in sports, KCCA FC to expand Philip Omondi Stadium. And that does it for tonight. Thank you for sticking with us. Mugalu Mohammed on sign language. I am Roda Ngonzi. Have a lovely night.